Hello and welcome back to another part of our 1,000 subscriber celebration extravaganza. And again, it's back with more live as we are going to Japan, going to Tokyo to see Lovebites do Shadowmaker.
In Japan, and Japanese music was something I think had been on our radars anyway, but
Yeah,
let's say more sparingly. And it was towards about 3-4 months ago, or was it longer than that? Like,
it
I lose
was
track of
longer than that
time.
because it was when we did the Maximum Hormone stuff because I obviously brought
Yeah,
Maximum in
yeah.
because I was like, oh, you need to hear this. And
And you were
then
right. I did need to hear it.
And then obviously the comments then were like, "Oh, if you like this, try these, try these. Here's other Japanese
Yeah,
bands," and the wormhole was opened up, and we
yeah, yeah.
found
And
ourselves in it.
like when we sort of started doing this, obviously the idea was kind of a voyage of discovery. Now, not every song's a voyage of discovery for both of us, or even for one of us in some cases. But I think there was a kind of hope that we'd get to travel the world a bit with it as well,
Yeah,
because you do end up getting a lot more familiarity with bands from your own country, or in the case of ours, a lot of the music from the States is
yeah,
very much has been pumped into kind of our ears through the years. So yeah, it was a hope. And I think what's been really nice for us is when we've gone to other countries. I keep saying that we go. So when we sit still and listen to music from other countries, we've got a really good batting rate, I think, so far, and probably because people are putting some of the best music from each individual countries is. But yeah, it's certainly been great for me, like as an experience. I said about finding new bands. Quite often, the temptation's just to kind of go, here are the 50 to 100 albums that I know I love, keep them on rotate, and never find new to us bands. And yeah, these are a new to us band that I've grown a whole lot of love for in a very short period of time.
yes. So this is from the first album that we did in full.
We did.
So we do know this song. So shall we see what it's like live?
Let's do it.
So, Mr. Seddon, what did you think of Shadowmaker Live?
Very quickly before we get into the performance and the song and everything, I
Yes.
just want to because I'll forget. I would quickly want to touch on the end of it where they finish and you get the round of applause and like we're both big wrestling fans, aren't we? And
Yes.
I say I love Japanese wrestling. I'm particularly a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling. But I remember how long it took me to get used to crowd reactions in Japan. Um, I'd grown up on the loud, raucous crowd, the chanting, the singing along, and
Yeah.
it is, and I think this is the first time that I've ever heard that at a music concert in Japan. So again, it kind of really threw me at the end. But yeah, just one of those quirks, isn't it? About sort of different cultures, different ways of doing it, and the effectively the utmost respect is applauding. So that's it. But yeah, we're normally used to kind of the end of it, a crowd going nuts,
Yeah.
but like kind of Western civilization nuts, maybe a little bit too nuts. I don't know. I guess while we're sort of covering this off, talking about like the 1,000 subscribers and kind of how we got here, and I know certainly on a lot of artists, Love Bites specifically being one where we reacted to the album, and I spend a lot of my time typing. Yeah, I know. There's a live version, but I want to do the albums first.
Yeah.
And I do. I'm a studio album first kind of person. I kind of want to hear it, how it was written and originally recorded, and then I want to hear the live afterwards. But just as a nod to that, I think this is an amazing live performance. I think it's far superior to the album version. Whilst doing what the album version does, but I think all of its constituent parts, from the vocals to every instrumental performance and the way it's all knitted together, I think is, and it's a song I liked from the album, but I think it's so much more impactful
Mm.
when they do it live. But we're still doing the albums first.
Yes. The one thing
Because
I
we
will,
don't get this feeling, do we?
no,
And I say we don't get this feeling. We may have loved it if we saw it live first, but yeah, I want to be able to compare it and contrast it to where it started to what it becomes.
yeah. It's the thing I loved with this one is just how easy they make it look, because those finger tap solos are ridiculous, but they're just no effort for them to just pull that off, and I'm just like, wow.
Well, you say how easy they make it look. One of the things that really stood out for me seeing them do it live was, whilst like outfits wise, they're relatively uniform. And I
Mm.
think in a lot of what they're doing on the stage, they're relatively uniform. Like there are certain kind of choreographed points, isn't there, where they move in the same direction at the same
Yeah,
time. But despite all of that, you can see that they're all individuals. I think there's focus on all of them, not only musically, but like where the camera kind of tracks and what they're doing on stage. But the thing that makes them all individuals is that I don't know, like just maybe because they're so good at what they do, they're not having to think about what their face does. So they're just being kind of natural, and I think
yeah,
you get a lot in their face expressions about who they are as people. And yeah, I think you're right. I think they make some really difficult stuff look effortless. Um, except for, and this isn't to say they don't make it look effortless. Recently I've become really fascinated with drummers.
yeah,
Watching Haruna on the drums, it's not that she makes it look difficult, but you can see how complex it is. You
yeah.
can see how much she is having to concentrate because how much is happening on the drums. And I loved seeing when the camera was on her, because I'm just going, oh, I feel for you right now, because you are um, the backbone of this, and God bless you for doing such an amazing bang up job.
And the thing I was going to mention the drums in a minute, but it was a case of it seemed quicker live
Yeah, yeah,
as well.
yeah.
It's like that double kick that's running through the most of this song seemed quicker on the live version than it did on the album version. And I'm just like, so you've taken what was already massively complex drum pattern
Yeah,
and
yeah,
gone,
and made
fuck
it
it,
harder for yourself
let's go
live.
time and a
Yeah,
half.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
And it's just like, you
We've got a crowd in, crack on.
but yeah, no, they are phenomenal live, and it
I thought
is.
Asami's vocal work as well shone so
Mm,
much more here than the album. And when you say so much more, it sounds like you're having a pop at the album, but no, I thought it really come through more here. And I focus on that because I think if you go back to our reaction to the album, I think quite often we were probably more gushing about guitars and drums because they are very impressive in both areas. And but yeah, here I thought the vocal line shone much more than it did on the album, and yeah, I was hugely impressed with the vocals here.
yes. So, what do you guys think? Down there, as always, in the comments.
And
Um,
like lay in with the "I told you it's better live." Yeah, yeah, bring it on. But we're still doing the studio albums first.
yes. Talking of studio albums, because obviously we have done bits for the future.
The
Um, we
future.
we are going back to Ramstein for a mini visit there, but once that's done and other bits that are already
Yeah,
out are
but
done,
we'll have a wee bit of catch up on viewer suggestions, and then dun dun dun.
number two.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. Really, really am looking forward to it. I think it was the last video where I talked about how the benefit of this is, or what you don't see is, we listen to it once on here and then we go away and we listen to stuff over and over again. Certainly, if it's caught us in any way. The downside to this is because we want to react to it. We, certainly I, but I'll go with we don't listen to the next album
Nope.
because we want to react to it. So there's a part of us that when we hit a band we really like, we're like, oh, come on, we better record this again soon because I want more. Yeah. But
Yes,
I
there.
guess, like for those who followed the band when they started releasing their albums, you had year plus waits between releases, whereas we're moaning because we might have to wait a month and a half between reacting to songs.
Yes. As always, YouTube things of like, subscribe, and ring the bells. And until next time, and we're back with more live joy. Auf Wiedersehen.